Are you struggling with your line work? Maybe your lines aren't the best. This is what you can do to get better. You can practice and develop anytime, any place using any one of my assorted tattooing workbooks. That means you would simply skip the setting up and breaking down. You would select your favorite tattoo machine along with your favorite ballpoint cartridge and be on your way. You can use a pencil or a pen as well, but you can get the absolute most out of your practice and development by using a tattoo machine along with the ballpoint cartridge within my assorted tattooing workbooks. You are hearing me correctly. We can 110% use a tattoo machine to practice within any of my assorted tattooing workbooks. Right here in front of me, I have the Tattoo Journals Volume 1, Volume 2, and Volume 3. These journals go in order from basic lining exercises all the way down to full-blown design lining exercises. Right here, Volume 1 within the Tattoo Journal series, we will be introduced to basic lining exercises. Within the Tattoo Journal Volume 2, we are going to be stepping into advanced lining exercises, while Volume 3, we will be taking our findings from Volume 1 and 2 and practicing those within Volume 3 by completing designs. We will also be introduced into basic shading as well within Volume 3. If you are just starting out your tattooing journey, the Tattoo Journal Volume 1 basic lining exercises will no doubt absolutely be the best way to go because these are basic lining exercises. We can take our findings that we learn within the Tattoo Journal Volume 1 and we could apply those basic lining exercises to Volume 2, which is going to be the advanced lining exercises, and then gradually work our way up to 3. After that, I feel like we can step on over into the Shading Journal Volume 1 to begin our shading practice as well. Depending on when you are watching this video, I could have more workbooks out that are maybe dedicated to like mandalas, statues. You get the idea, so be sure to stick around. I will be leaving my Amazon affiliate links to my Amazon author page for you in the description below so you can check out my catalog of workbooks on your end. Please note that each one of my tattooing workbooks is designed with specific applications in mind. So if you are wanting to practice and develop your lining, Volume 1, 2, and 3 of the Tattoo Journal series is going to be a good way to go. Some of my workbooks are going to be for lining, others are going to be for shading, while others are going to be for texture, others are going to be for pointillism, others are going to be for floral. If you are wanting to develop and practice your floral, the Floral Guide Volume 1 and 2 are a great option. I do also have more floral workbooks in the works, so depending on when you're watching this video, the newer ones could be available as well, but these are still a great resource to go with. If you are wanting to develop your lining, the Tattoo Journal Volume 1, the Tattoo Journal Volume 2, and the Tattoo Journal Volume 3 are a great way to go. If you are wanting to develop your shading, the Shading Journal Volume 1 is also a great way to go. Volume 2 and 3 are in the works. If you are wanting to develop more accuracy with pointillism, Dot Magic will be a great resource for you. If you're wanting to develop your vehicles, Vehicle Practice Volume 1 is a great resource for you. If you're wanting to develop your facial features, the Facial Feature Guide Volume 1 can be a great resource for you. If you're wanting to learn more about fake skin, the book about fake tattoo skin can be a great resource for you. I also have workbooks dedicated to learning graffiti rights. I also have another workbook dedicated to tattoo needle trivia. I also have workbooks that are dedicated to print ready stencils, so you can either take a picture of the designs within Volume 1 and 2 of Print to Practice, or you can remove the paper and then send it through your printer, or you can take a picture like with your iPad, send it to your digital printer. I can't seem to locate my Wildlife Volume 1 tattooing workbook, so I'll go ahead and put a screenshot of it up right here so that you can see what it looks like. Wildlife Volume 1 is dedicated to learning like fur textures and getting comfortable with applying animals that involve no hard lining. How I like to use my workbooks is I like to pick a page that I want to exercise in. So here is a page with just simple longer straight lines within the Tattoo Journal Volume 1 basic lining exercises. I like to pick out a tattoo machine. So for this instance, I'm going to be using my Inkclaw Challenger tattoo machine. I'm also going to be using an Inkclaw ballpoint cartridge right here, as you can see, and this is going to be the color blue. I want to complete these exercises on this page. So this is the A point. I'm going to be making my way to B. Other pages are from B going to the left. You get the idea. What I like to do as well is I like to get a piece of paper or a cardstock paper. I like to place it behind the page that I'm working on so that way it doesn't interfere with the pages coming. All I have to do is pick out a page, my machine, my ballpoint cartridge, and I am ready to practice. Here is the Tattoo Journal Volume 1. Here is going to be the Inkclaw machine and a ballpoint cartridge. I am running at 4 volts even. What I want to do is I want to create some lines from point A to B here as cleanly as I can. I will make mistakes and I will mess up. I may even wobble here with you on camera. However, If there was any place to make mistakes, it's going to be here within these tattooing workbooks. You can see that I'm not breaking through the paper, so I'm off to a good start. I'm getting a line that's pretty consistent in the line. We have to keep in mind I am using a ballpoint pen, so it's going to be a different line weight. But you can see that I'm practicing my hand speed, my voltage. I'm practicing my depth. I'm finding a tempo. I'm working on my tapering in and out right here. And I'm figuring out a way to problem solve as I'm going. So as you can see, I'm not able to get a sort of comfortable groove, and that's fine. If I'm going to be making mistakes, this is probably the best place to make mistakes, is within these workbooks. So over time, as we start progressing and getting better, that we can start using these not only for practice, they'll come to a point where we can use them for warming up before we move on to any sort of work with actual needles. You can even hear the difference between the needle depth fluctuating as I apply this line. Keep in mind I'm breaking it down into multiple sections. So I'm also figuring out how to create a line or a long line out of multiple lines. So there's a lot that I'm technically focused on here. Just a little bit more. Not by any means perfect, made plenty of mistakes along the way. However, I'm developing, I'm learning. What I have to do is, as I go, I'm going to figure out ways to problem solve and resolve any issues that I may be experiencing. So for example, I want to see how far I can get when I create a line from point A to B, and I want to work on consistency as well as comfortability when creating this line. I want to see if I can do this line in longer strokes as well. So I'm going to try various different things, and then I will find one that's naturally going to fit for my style and then just feel a lot more better. But you can see that the direction that I'm creating in is causing me to hiccup here, so therefore I have to pay more attention to that. I will try different directions here in a moment. I'm trying different needle depths, different hand speeds, as you can see. Paper started bouncing around on me there. Tapering in and out. Position of stretching, so I'm kind of mimicking a stretch of how I would be stretching on skin, but you get the idea. So there is a lot of, development going on here that we may not be seeing up front. Here are some more assorted lining exercises from the Tattoo Journal Volume 1. Now, one thing that I feel is important, and also that these tattooing workbooks offer, is the ability to embrace our mistakes earlier on in our journey, so that way we get comfortable with them. 9 times out of 10 when we first start, we kind of shy away from our mistakes and we kind of become timid or maybe even discouraged over time of continuously making them. Within these workbooks, we are going to continuously make mistakes, but that's exactly what they are for. By making these mistakes and going through the motions, we are going to be a lot more equipped to handle situations that we wouldn't have been able to otherwise. So as you can see, here's my point A to B. Identify point A to B. Focus on my posture, my position, my comfortability. Align my hand speed to my voltage, and make sure that I'm creating the line in a direction that I am comfortable with. I'm going to create this line in one single pass here like so, and I'm going to continue doing those. I'm focused on all of those variables at once. I'm also paying attention to my line weight. My line weight is going to tell me how consistent I am with my needle depth. And you're going to notice too that I'm not breaking through the paper here by any means. We're tattooing on this cardstock right here, so it's not affecting the exercises behind either. So this is a very good sign. If I'm breaking through the paper, then obviously I have to work on my hand because it's a little too heavy. But you can see I have a good touch here that's allowing me to get nice, clean, stable, consistent lines, not only in line weight, but in terms of saturation. Let's say I wanted to take my practice even further. On top of using a tattoo machine with a ballpoint cartridge, here I have a row of Scotch Shop wipes. I'm going to place this into the back of my journal like so, and then from here I now have a curvature surface that I can work off of. So now this is to kind of mimic maybe like an arm, wrist, shin, something like that, and then I'm going to practice on a curvature surface now. So as you can see, here's my A point and my B point. Identify that, posture, position, comfortability, hand speed to voltage. Make sure the direction that I'm pulling in, I'm comfortable, and create the line as best I can. Mistakes will be made, but I will definitely develop and learn from them. It's really important that we embrace those mistakes early on, so that way we can really pinpoint and find out what we're doing wrong and develop. On top of tattooing on paper, meaning I have to be really mindful of my needle depth and my technical application, on top of using a tattoo machine with a ballpoint cartridge, I also have a curvature surface. So you can see I can do this anywhere, anytime, any place. Not only can I practice like this, I can practice and get to it really easy as we skip the setting up and breaking down. I can do this in my front yard, my backyard, at the park, at the mall, on lunch break. You get the idea. In my car, or in your car. For those who are wondering if I've broken through the paper, no, I have not. As you can see right here, no breaks at all. I do feel little grooves right here, but they're not even noticeable on this side. As you can see, the light doesn't cast shadows because there's just a very small amount of textures. So even this page is still 110% tattooable. Here is the Tattoo Journal Volume 2. And these exercises are a bit more advanced than the basic lining exercises in Volume 1. As you can see, they have a bit more shape to them and a bit more complexity. So now I have to figure out a way to apply exercises that are a bit more advanced. If I make mistakes, again, I want to embrace them because that's perfectly okay. I am, after all, working in a tattooing workbook design to help me progress. And again, my Amazon affiliate links will be for you in the description below, so that way you can check out these tattooing workbooks on your end. They're called the Tattoo Journals Volume 1, 2, and 3. Depending on when you're watching this video, I may have more variations of these style of books out. Trying my best to apply this part of the design as accurately as I can, although it's not as easy as it may seem. I'm focused on my posture, my position, my comfortability, my hand speed to my voltage, my needle angle, and the direction that I'm creating these lines in. All of that matters. And each and every time I do that, all of those fundamentals have to align, and you're going to notice that that's how we get consistent work. Messed up a little bit right there. I was creating the line in an uncomfortable direction, so now I'm going to minimize that sort of approach. As you can see, now I'm adjusting myself each and every time to create a better line. As we start progressing, we can actually navigate to the pages and exercises that most inspire us. We don't have to go from beginning to end, although if you want to take the beginning all the way to the end, you can. Volume 1 starts off with simple to more complex, so it's always a good idea if you were just starting out to kind of start from the beginning in Volume 1 and then work your way to the end. And then when you go to Volume 2 and 3, you can kind of take on the exercises as you want, just as you would tattoos in real life. So all of the basics I'm still using. My needle depth I'm being mindful of because I still want a consistent line weight even though I'm using a ballpoint cartridge. Mindful of my hand speed to my voltage, my position, the direction I'm creating the line in. All of these fundamentals matter to me as they contribute to the final read of my designs. Hand speed to voltage is very important, as that's how I accomplish the type of saturation that I'm looking for. Attention to detail as well. I'm picking up on that here. posture positioning, prioritizing my comfortability, getting comfortable with the vibration of the machine here. And you can see I'm not necessarily moving quick either. Taking my time with the application of each and every single line that I deposit, and you can see though that I'm still not breaking through the paper or even cutting it at that. There's just a minor groove and that's it. So like if I go ahead and show you the back end, there's nothing breaking through at all. There's barely even any texture showing up on this side. There's a little bit, but I have to kind of look for them. So you can see that we are applying this technically correct for the gear that I'm using. I'm using a ballpoint cartridge. I'm getting consistent line weights and consistent lines. So this one was a little bit inaccurate, so I now have to slow it down just a little bit. Focus on my directions as well. So the biggest issues that I'm facing right now are creating lines in directions that I'm remotely not comfortable with, and also my accuracy. So I'll tend to kind of speed up my tempo and work a little bit faster than I should. That's also another issue that I'm facing right now. So I need to slow it down and remain at a consistent tempo. And I also need to be mindful of my ink deposits, where I'm depositing my ink, so that way I'm depositing over the stencil and not on the side. I also need to be mindful of the directions that I'm creating the lines in. That's very big for me. I have to be comfortable in the direction that I create the line for optimal result. So I'm moving myself, reprioritizing my posture, my position. There we go. There we go. I want to make sure each line connects where it should. You can see that I still don't have any breaking of the paper. Not even of the slightest. Keep in mind that volume 2 has loads of various advanced lining exercises. Here is the Tattoo Journal volume 3, where we're going to be practicing our findings from volume 1 and volume 2. So you can see now we're being introduced to fine lining as well as details and some shading. So allow me to demonstrate with the Tattoo Journal volume 3. As I mentioned, this one's design oriented. So we're going to be practicing our skills now that we've learned on actual designs, which means we're getting much closer to tattooing with the needle. I'm building up patience. I'm finding my settings for my hand speed to my voltage. I'm establishing my tempo. I'm figuring out ways that I would go about applying certain designs, certain areas of designs like leaves, lining, tapering in and out, prioritizing my posture, my position, my direction of lines. All of these things matter, and they all contribute to the quality of our work. Since these are finer details, I'll speed it up a little bit just to get a sort of lighter appearance. So you can see I'm figuring out different techniques to apply a different style of details. All of this that I'm practicing and learning here is what I'm going to be taking with me when I begin tattooing fake skin. This is essentially the learning step, so to speak. So I'm learning that it's not too comfortable going in that direction for me. Let's try this direction here. Not quite as comfortable, but it wasn't too uncomfortable either. It wasn't like unmanageable. And then once I start getting to a certain point, I could begin to start applying, shading and simple whip motions like this right here, as you see. So we get a shading introduction. And if we want to get more technical with our shading and practice and develop further, that's exactly what the Shading Journal Volume 1, 2, and 3 is going to be for. Currently, Volume 1 is out, 2 and 3 are in development. This exercise right here is more on the advanced side as well. So I'm also learning that since this is a really dense design with detail, I have to work at a specific tempo in order to capture everything as accurately as I can. As I've mentioned time and time again, if there's any place to make mistakes and be happy with the mistakes that we are making, it's going to be within these tattooing workbooks. This is the place for making mistakes. This is the place that we want to make them so that we can identify the mistakes that we're making, figure out why we're making them, and then progress like that. We can really find practical progression within any one of the assorted tattooing workbooks, especially if you kind of approach it in a manner that you would if you're tattooing. You can see that I'm using gloves and I'm kind of mimicking an actual tattooing process. I think if you approach it like that, you'll really get the most out of your practice as well. So like right here, for example, the skin's wobbling around on me. I'm sorry, the paper is wobbling around on me a bit, so I'm having to figure out how to resolve that issue there without being in the skin too much, or I'm sorry, without being in the paper and damaging the paper. So I wasn't really comfortable creating in that direction, so I'm going to be mindful of the other side when I create this side here of the direction that I create those lines in. As I apply them with a little bit of inaccuracy, although it reads well, it's still not 110% accurate to the original stencil there. So this direction feels a lot more natural and comfortable to me. These tattooing workbooks are now available on Amazon.com. I do have some on BarnesandNobles.com as well, but they are majorly available on Amazon.com. My affiliate links will be for you in the description below. So if you're looking to progress and develop and speed up your development, then these workbooks can be a great resource to help you do just that, as you can practice anytime, any place, anywhere. Now that'll be it for this video. That is, or those are the tattoo journals right there. If you have any questions at all, I encourage you to drop a comment down below. I'm going to do my absolute best to assist in the best possible direction. Before you go, please don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel and ring that bell for me, as I'm going to be bringing more videos like this for you, as well as more tattooing workbooks. I do appreciate your time and I thank you for watching very much. Have a great day.